Hey, welcome back to Points to Ponder. And think about this. When life goes left, do you trust or do you panic? Hey, here's our Sunday school lesson for this week, Jeremiah's rescue. The lesson focus, God can rescue those who do the right thing. And the lesson scripture, Jeremiah 38 verses 7 through 13. Well, you know what we do here at Points to Ponder. I give you good questions so you can have good discussion so that you can build a great community. It is so important that as Christians that we challenge each other. Iron sharpens iron, and we want to do all we can. And critical thinking through the text, through questions, really helps us to accomplish that task. Where do our questions come from? Emotion in the text, decisions in the text, responses in the text. And we'll definitely see all of these as we jump into the lesson. Let's jump right on into the first lesson. Let me give you the first outline, I should say. Let me give you some context. So Jeremiah 38, chapter 38 is where we are. We pick up at verse 7. But before verse 7, here's what Jeremiah has done. Jeremiah has told everybody in Jerusalem that, yo, surrender to the Babylonians, you'll live. We not going to win this one, brother. We not going to win this one. So surrender. And what happens is people who are loyal to the king was like, no, we got to get Jeremiah out of here. Although he telling the truth, people going to stop fighting and they just going to surrender. So like, let's throw them in a pit. And that's where we start the lesson this week. So Jeremiah is in a cistern. And listen what it says in verse 7. It says, but Ebed-Melech, a Cushite, an official in the royal palace, heard that they had put Jeremiah into the cistern, into this deep pit. Point to ponder number one, because I want to think about it from Jeremiah's perspective first. So point to ponder number one, where do you find the strength to keep doing right when everything seems to be going wrong? Where do you find the strength to keep doing right when it seems everything is going wrong? Now remember, Jeremiah is just preaching what God has told him to do. Jeremiah is just giving the word. Jeremiah is just he just obeying, and he finds himself in a pit. He finds himself in this dark place, sunken into mud, pretty much just awaiting his death. In your life, where do you find the strength? Think about that. To do right when it seems like everything is still going wrong. Wow. Let's keep going. Look what it says in verse 8. Ebed-Melech went out of the palace and said to him, the king, my lord the king, these men have acted wickedly, and all they have done to Jeremiah the prophet, they have thrown him into a cistern where he will starve to death when there is no longer any bread in the city. Point to ponder number 2. I really want you to pause and think about this. When was the last time you helped someone that you didn't have to? And why did you do it? Point to ponder number 2. When was the last time you helped someone and you didn't have to? And why did you do it? Because Ebed-Melech, this was not his responsibility. This had nothing to do with him, but he heard the prophet was in trouble. When you hear people are in trouble, are you willing to help? Or is it their life? Is it their life? And listen, and I'm going to tell you that's something that we have to work on, because I'm going to give you point to ponder number 3 out of this same verse. Because like I said, hey, you've heard what they've done to Jeremiah. They've thrown him into the cistern. Point to ponder number 3. How do we as believers truly become selfless? Point to ponder number 3. How do we as believers truly become selfless? That is not about us. It's not about our convenience. It doesn't have to always go according to our schedule. How do we as believers become selfless? Think about that. Think about what we need to change in our behavior, what we need to change in our mind, what we need to change in our heart. How do we as believers become selfless? All right, let's keep going. Verse 10 says, then the king commanded Ebed-Melech the Cushite, take 30 men from here with you and lift Jeremiah the prophet out of the cistern before he died. Wait, hold up, wait a minute. Guess what it said? Listen. Verse 10, the king is helping to rescue Jeremiah, but the king is the one who allowed them to put Jeremiah into the cistern, into the pit. So, here's point to ponder number 4, and I really want you to think about this. When it comes to God delivering you, does your preference get in the way of his method? Does your preference, the way you want him to deliver you, the way you want him to work it out, the way you want him to do it? Now, Jeremiah could be like, nah, fella, nah, you the one put me in here. Nah, no, that's not what he did. God used the king, the same king that allowed Jeremiah to put it in. God somehow worked on his heart. Do not allow your preferences to get in the way of God's methods. Is your preference too powerful? That's good. Do we care too much sometimes who God uses? Woo! Ooh! Do we care who God uses to do his will? What? Why we can't just accept it? Wow. Dude, let me go on this second outline because I can stay right there. Listen what it says. In verse 11, so Ebed-Melech took the men with him, and they went to a room under the treasury of the palace. He took some old rags and some worn-out clothes from there and let them down with ropes to Jeremiah in the cistern. So point to ponder number 5 is this. How does your effort to help others show your love for God? How does your effort, your willingness to help others show your love for God? Because if you never really go out of your way, you really never try to help, you really never, can you really claim you love God like that? How does your effort to help others show your love for God? Here we go. Let's go. Last verse 13. Point to ponder number 6 comes out of this one. And they pulled him up with the ropes and lifted him out of the cistern. And Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard. So here's your application question. Point to ponder number 6 is your application question. Who can you encourage? Who can you currently encourage or serve that's in a pit of life right now? Maybe dealing with an addiction, maybe dealing with grief, maybe dealing with depression, maybe dealing with a job loss, maybe dealing with a wayward child. Who can you serve who's currently in a pit? Because I don't want us to just listen to the lesson and be like, dang, I need to do better. I need to grow up. No, who can you currently serve who's in a pit? And don't just think about it. Make the call, make it happen. Well, I've given you 6 points to ponder, and I hope these have been a blessing to you. And if you're teaching this lesson, you know what I want you to do. 40-50% of the time you're teaching, but then you want to engage discussion. The goal is not to finish the lesson. The goal is to transform lives. If you listen to this personally, pause and reflect on the question. Don't just go through and listen and be like, oh, wow. No, pause and reflect and let God do great things. And if this video has been a blessing to you, you know what I want you to do. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know what question really spoke to you. See you next week. Bye.